Thanks for stopping by. It is the day before Christmas Eve, and I am going to be doing a brisket for Christmas Eve dinner. I have a 7.6 pound brisket. It's a full packer, I guess you guys call it, with a point and a flat. I am going to get this on the ugly drum smoker in the morning, probably around 3 a.m. I'm trying to shoot for a 12-hour cook on this one. I'm going to be using applewood and some mesquite. I will be coating the brisket with some olive oil and my rub that I did with the coffee in it, which you saw on the last prime rib that I did for Thanksgiving. Right now I need to go ahead and trim the brisket down, get the fat cut off it, and we'll get it seasoned up and wrapped in saran wrap so it can sit in the fridge overnight to do a dry marinade pretty much. So let's get started. Okay, so here we have our brisket. It's a 7.65 pound brisket. It's got a pretty nice thick fat cap on it. I don't mind too much about the fat cap. I don't trim that much off it. I do like the flavor of the fat that it renders off. I do try to remove, some of it, obviously, just to get it off. I don't mind taking the brisket after it's cooked. If there's a piece that I cut or slice for somebody that has a lot of fat on it, I'll usually trim it down at that point. I also take notice of which way the grain's going, and I'll make a little kind of a slit to know that that's going against the grain. So what I'll do is I'll go ahead and get this this fat trimmed up a bit, and I'll see you after that. Okay, so I got my brisket all trimmed up. As you can see, I did leave quite a bit of fat still on it. I also trimmed up some some real thin areas here to just kind of get it nice and even. So at this point, I'm going to go ahead and coat it with some olive oil here. Try to keep it clean. And then I'll go ahead and hit it up with some of this coffee rub, Java rub, or however you want to call it. And this is my Parmesan cheese shaker that I was talking about in one of my earlier videos that I keep all my rubs in. It works out real well. Give this a liberal coating. Now, in the past, I've done injections. I've done wet marinades overnight. I've done dry marinades such as this, and to me, everything comes out just as good. So it all depends on the mood that I'm in when I want to get ready to do this. And today, I just want to do a dry marinade, get it wrapped, and let it sit overnight in the fridge. And then tomorrow, when I get the ugly drum smoker going, I'll take all the fat trimmings and put them in a pan with some beef broth and some onions, some carrots and stuff, just to get some flavoring out of it. It also makes an awesome gravy at the end. So I'll go ahead and get this coated up really nice and get it wrapped up, and I'll see you then. Okay, so here's our brisket all wrapped up. I'm going to get this in the fridge to rest overnight. We're planning dinner around 5:30 tomorrow night. So I'm going to try to get this on the smoker between 3:30 and 4 and have enough time to pull it and let it rest for about an hour long. I like about an hour, in the cooler. Here is our cutoffs that I did from the brisket. I'm not going to throw these away. When I get the brisket on in the morning, I'm also going to get a pan of beef broth, some onions, some carrots, and get these in there and let that simmer in the smoker through the whole cook. I'll top it off with some beef broth or some water, as necessary. And at the end, what I'll have is probably like a really reduced stock that I can use for some chilies or some soups that I want to do this coming week as well, maybe for New Year's. So don't let anything go to waste. I'll get this used up, and the next time you'll see me, it'll be bright and early in the morning, and we'll have this on the smoker. I'll see you then. Alright guys, so it's about 4 a.m. right now. I got the drum smoker working, or heating up. Right now it's about 200 degrees. I'm going to probably run this about 250, 275. Again, I'm shooting for the 12-hour mark, so technically if I get this on by 4:15, it should be done by 4 p.m., 4:30 p.m. Dinner time is around 5 to 5:30 p.m., so I should have an hour to rest. Let me show you what I have going on here for my my moisture pan that I'm going to be using. For this cook, I'm using some mesquite lump charcoal with some mesquite, cherry, and a little bit of apple in there. I'm just using some wood that I have left over. So let me show you what I have right here. So what I got here is a pan with some beef stock, some onions, carrots, and these carrots are just some diced carrots I had left over from a chicken soup that I did. And I have some of the brisket trimmings in here as well. Here's the brisket that was been sitting for about 12 hours right now. Dry rub marinade. It's been out of the fridge now for about half an hour, almost 40 minutes, so it's almost room temperature now. So I will get this right below. I'll put this right below the brisket. Put this on top, the top rack, and get the temperature in there. And right now my smoker is at 245, so I'll start adjusting the air vents in there to get that to slow down and hit that 250, 275 mark. So let's get this on there. Hey guys, so I just want to give you a quick update. I hope you guys can hear this. I'm talking low because everybody's still asleep. It's about 5:30 right now. The meat's been on for about an hour and a half, and I didn't record putting the meat on, but you guys all seen that, probably 100 times. Temperature is holding well at about 245, 250 right now. I don't want to keep opening the lid up because it is cold outside. The temperature seems to drop pretty quickly, so meat's been on. I don't know if you guys can see it back there, but it's been chugging along pretty good, holding temps. So looks like the meat is at about 120 right now. I hope that's not going up too fast, so we'll just keep an eye on them. See you guys later. Alright guys, so the brisket's been on for about 4 hours now? Yeah, it's 8 a.m. right now. I put it on at 4, so it's been on about 4 hours. Temp's holding good. I brought it down to about 230, 225, just to slow it up a little bit. So right now what I got here is some beef broth, a little bit of Worcestershire sauce. I'm just going to give it a quick spritz. And it's already got a lot of good color to it right now. I don't know if you guys can see that very well. I'll get a close-up shot here in a minute. All the drippings are going right into that tray underneath with the beef broth and the onions and celery and carrots. It's holding well. It's got good color. Keep it going. Alright, so while the brisket is on the smoker right now, I am going to do a side dish, which is I guess you call it a baked potato casserole. And I'm going to go ahead and get that started, so let's take a look at the ingredients. Alright, for this baked potato casserole, what we have here is a cup of sour cream, a cup of mayonnaise, about, I don't know, about 3 pounds of just regular potatoes. Use any kind you like. I'm going to use a pound of bacon. I'm going to saute this up first. We got some cheddar cheese, onion, and some green onions. This is a very simple dish. What I'm going to do is I'm going to peel the potatoes and I'm going to cube them, get them in the boiling water. So technically it's not a baked potato. It's more like boiled potato or mashed potato, I guess. But I'm not going to mash it. I'm going to keep it cubed. Get the wet ingredients mixed up with some cheese in there. Toss it in with the cooked potatoes and the bacon, some onion, and get it in the oven. And it's a pretty simple dish. Let's get started. So we're going to go ahead and start peeling potatoes here. I have the water starting to heat up. And basically what I'm looking for is just an even cube. Nothing too big, but not too small. So something, I don't know what you would call that, about, I don't know, half by half or inch by inch. Just an easy cube. And we'll get this in the water. I'll go ahead and get the rest of the potatoes peeled up and in the water. Alright, so in this pot we got some bacon and onions sauteing up. I'm going to get these crispy and then spoon them out to drain all the fat off it. And after that we'll go ahead and get our wet mixtures going and get the casserole put together and in the oven. Alright, so the first wet ingredient we're going to put in is a cup of mayonnaise, and my lovely assistant Lexus will be adding. Make sure you scrape it all in there.
I will. Don't try.
No, that's good. And then the next would be a cup of sour cream. And then about a cup, 3/4 cup of diced green onions. And then we'll go ahead and add the bacon and onions that we just cooked. And then I'll go ahead and give that a light toss. Now, of course, we're trying to keep this as chunky as possible, so we're not trying to mash up everything. It's okay if it does get mashed a little bit. Make sure we keep it all in there. Alright. Go hit it with a little bit of kosher salt. And some black pepper. And then I'll add some cheddar cheese to it. I'm going to save a little bit at the top for the topping when we get in the bacon dish. Get this tossed again. I am going to grab a metal spoon. Again, it's going to obviously break up a little bit, but that's fine as long as it stays somewhat chunky when we get it in the oven. And I'm also going to give this a little taste for seasoning. That's the oven warmed up. That could be eaten just like that. Alright, let's get the bacon sheet going. Go ahead and hit a little bit of pan. Just get it smoothed out. I got the oven preheated to 375 right now. This will probably go in for about 30-40 minutes, or until it's nice and bubbly and the cheese is melted good. Get some of the leftover cheddar on top. And we will get this in the oven. So for the brisket, I'm going to go ahead and make this this sauce that I've seen on TV. I forgot the name of it already. I kind of wrote down what the guy was explaining as far as ingredients wise, and I wanted to give it a shot. So this is going to be kind of like my version, deciphering what was said on TV. But what I'm starting off with is 4 cups of tomato sauce, 1 cup of tomato puree, 1/4 cup of ketchup, 2 tablespoons of cane syrup, 1/2 cup of Worcestershire sauce, 1/4 cup of Cajun seasoning, 2 tablespoons of soy sauce, 2 tablespoons of yellow mustard, 2 tablespoons of hot sauce, 1/4 of a can of beer. I'm of course going to be using some Guinness because that's what I do. A lemon juice from 1 lemon. 1½ teaspoons of pepper, 1½ teaspoons of cayenne, 1½ teaspoons of garlic salt. I do not have any garlic salt. I ran out, so I'm going to just be using granulated garlic. And 2½ pounds of dark brown sugar. So I'm going to go ahead and get those ingredients in this pot, and we'll see what we get. Alright? Alright, so we're getting our ingredients mixed up. I added the 1 cup of tomato sauce, or actually 1 cup of tomato puree, and then I'm adding 4 cups, which these are 8 ounce, 1 cup each, of tomato sauce. Got a 1/4 cup of ketchup ready to go here. I got the cane syrup, which is 2 tablespoons. And believe it or not, this was pretty difficult to find at a grocery store. I had to go to a specialty store. This stuff is sticky. Go ahead and get the half a cup of Worcestershire sauce. And then we'll go back to, let's see, where is it? I already lost my Cajun seasoning, which is behind me. We'll do a quarter cup of Cajun seasoning. Get back to our tablespoon here. 2 tablespoons of soy sauce. Roughly. And we'll do 2 tablespoons of yellow mustard. Two tablespoons of hot sauce, and I just got some generic grocery store hot sauce. It's just what I had inside. Go ahead and get our beer in there. Calls for a quarter of a can. I'm just going to eyeball it. That's about right. Teaspoon and a half of black pepper. I'm going to go a little light on the cayenne here because I'm not sure what other people are going to think of all the cayenne, so I'm just going to add a pinch, so just a little bit of heat. Granulated garlic, which should be garlic salt. Get a teaspoon and a half, about that. And then all this dark brown sugar, which I like the sweetness. That's about half a pound of my leftover, and then I will use this whole bag. And we'll get this mixed up and heat it up. I'm going to let this heat up a little bit so that brown sugar dissolves properly, and then we'll go ahead and give it a taste. Hey guys, so this is the sauce that I just made. I let it heat up a little bit and reduce. It's got a nice color to it. I like it. Really sweet. I mean, obviously with the 2.5 pounds of brown sugar, but it definitely has a really good taste to it. It's different. I'm going to bring it over to the in-laws' house where everybody can give it a try and let me know what they think of it. But it's definitely unique. I'll go ahead and post the ingredients at the end here, so you guys can give it a try and let me know what you think. I'm thinking I saw this off of BBQ Paradise or Paradise Barbecue or something on the Travel Channel. I'm still not quite sure the name of the place that I saw it from, but I remember jotting it down when I was watching it. Alright, well, we're almost done with everything. It's about 4:20 right now. The brisket's at 192, and I should be getting that off and put in a cooler to rest for, for an hour. We'll see you guys later. Alright guys, so here's the brisket. It's been resting for quite a while. I'm going to get ready to slice it. I'm going to slice it here and bring it over, make it a little bit easier. There's going to be a lot of people over there. If you remember in the beginning how I made a kind of a slice to let me know which way the grain's going, so I know with that slice to go ahead and slice the brisket this way. We'll go ahead and get that sliced. I can already tell it's got a lot of juice, as you can hear. I don't know if you guys can hear that, but it is cutting like butter. Let me grab a slice so you guys can see, but it's got a pretty good slice. It's got a decent smoke ring, I would say. I wouldn't say it's the greatest, but it's definitely very tender. It is very juicy, and it is very flavorful. Man, that's good. You can see I left a little fat there. I like a little bit of fat on mine, but man, that's good. You know what? I just got back from Dallas, Texas last week, and I was eating at a lot of the restaurants over there and having their brisket, and you know what? Nothing beats making it yourself at home. But this is my brisket. Pretty damn good. As you can see over there, I got my sauces all jarred up, ready to go, and there is our baked potato casserole that I did. There we go. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you guys have any questions, comments, anything, please let me know. Thanks for watching.